ఇవాళ నేను ఎందుకు స్టార్ట్ చేశానంటేనండి, I found some speciality in the day. Today is Saturday, అంటే the seventh day of the week, and ఇవాళ date 7th, and then ఇవాళ మనకి తెలుగు తిథులు కూడా సప్తమి. ఇప్పుడు అంచేత అన్ని కరెక్ట్ గా బాగున్నాయి, మంచి ముహూర్తం. ఓకే, whoever attends, there should be any number of people, whoever attends, they should have good luck. ఆ ఉద్దేశంతో నేను ఇవాళ దీన్ని ఫిక్స్ చేసుకున్నా. లేకపోతే యాక్చువల్గా ఈవినింగ్ క్లాస్ తోనే స్టార్ట్ చేసి ఉండొచ్చును. ఆ ఈవినింగ్ క్లాస్ టైంకి సప్తమి రాలేదు. అది చూసి ఇట్లా స్టార్ట్ చేశాను అనమాట.
ఉత్తమం మహోదయ, ధన్యాః వయం.
అంచేత అన్ని కలిసి వచ్చే బాగుంది. మనం మాట్లాడదాము, విల్ మేక్ ఏ స్టార్ట్ అని. నేను ఐఎమ్ ట్రయింగ్ త్రూ పవర్ పాయింట్ ప్రజెంటేషన్స్ అనమాట ఇక్కడ, ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ పీడిఎఫ్స్ తర్వాత ప్రిపేర్ చేస్తాను ఫర్ డీటెయిల్డ్ నోట్స్. అయితే ఏమవుతుందంటే పీడిఎఫ్ అయితే చాలా స్మాల్ లెటర్స్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయడానికి అంత కంఫర్టబుల్ గా ఉండదు. పవర్ పాయింట్ అయితే కంఫర్టబుల్ గా ఉంటుంది. we are now preparing for the National Eligibility Test Examination conducted by the University Grants Commission under Government of India. You know, University Grants Commission is an autonomous body formed by statutory provisions under Government of India, and this National Eligibility Test is conducted for the purpose of selection for the post of assistant professor at any university or college. That is one objective. The second objective is it is made mandatory for entry into any PhD programs. And the third objective is for sanction of JRF, called Junior Research Fellowship, which is of the value of 40,000 to 50,000 rupees a month, granted by the UGC for the people who do their research program. So these three are the targets or objectives for which this test is conducted. This test is conducted by an organization specially created for conducting all these entrances, called National Testing Agency. This is also attached to the University Grants Commission only. So this National Testing Agency would conduct all these tests at the national level to be done by the UGC on behalf of the UGC. And the tests are really interesting. And really we get encouraged, we get happy to attend these tests. Next important point is all these tests are computer-based tests. Means, you know, every one of you knows what is a computer-based test. We have multiple choice questions and one question and 4 optional answers, and you have to tick mark the correct answer. That's it. And answering these things is also excellently planned in the test. It is so easy, you need not get puzzled how it will be and all that. At a later date, after some time, I'll show you, after some topics are covered, I'll show you how the paper goes and how the paper exhibits itself to you and how you can answer. Absolutely, there is no problem. You can scroll between question to question also very easily straight away by clicking on the question number itself. You will be shown a panel of questions. So all the structure about the exam paper, it is too early to discuss now. I'll tell you after some time. Coming to the structure of the UGC NET examination. UGC NET examination is supposed to be conducted in 100 subjects, almost, which are the subjects which go in India. So it goes in 100 subjects. This examination comprises two tests combined for 3 hours continuously. In this, there are 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. We address them as paper 1 and paper 2, but there is no such distinction. It's only one paper for 3 hours. Paper 1 means part 1, which covers general topics, and paper 2 is the proper subject paper, whichever subject you choose. For example, we are now doing it for only Sanskrit subject. Similarly, you will have, presently it is being conducted for 86 other subjects like mathematics, chemistry, journalism, whatever, all languages, engineering subjects, except medicine and law. You will have everything here. So for all these subjects, paper 2 will be there. So the total duration for part 1 and part 2 put together is for 3 hours. Normally, the number of questions, multiple choice questions set are 50 questions in paper 1. 50 questions in paper 1. Each question carries 2 marks. So paper 1, that is the general paper, is for 100 marks, and it is supposed to be completed in 1 hour's time. The second paper means the proper subject paper, specific subject paper. He will set 100 multiple choice questions. Again, each question carries 2 marks, 200 marks. So both the papers put together, 300 marks, and time is 3 hours. So the second paper is supposed to be completed in 2 hours time. So you have 3 hours time, and you have 150 questions. You can imagine that means each question hardly has 1 minute's time to answer. 1 minute's time to answer. So it is not just knowing the answer, the smartness and the pace at which you answer the questions is also very, very important. So we have to continuously practice some practice tests in answering the multiple choice questions, and also we will do some mock tests towards the end of this program. Definitely that helps in the examinations to do it fast. No doubt we may be knowing answers to many things, but it's a challenge to complete all the 150 questions in the time given of 3 hours. So we should prepare well for that. The other thing is the time of 1 hour for the part 1 and 2 hours for the part 2 are not segregated at all. Totally it is 3 hours time, and you can scroll among all the questions right into the part 1 as well as into the part 2. From here to there and there to here, you can scroll. Scrolling won't take any time. There will be a panel. You can straight away scroll by the question, by the number of the respective question. So it is very easy to answer. But the thing is, we have to practice for gaining the pace to answer, at the pace at which we answer those things. So this is the overall structure of the examination. So for this year, we are starting with coaching for paper 1 and also paper 2 only in Sanskrit. In Sanskrit subject, there are 2 different courses in which exam is conducted by the NTA, National Testing Agency. They are called, one course is course code 25 and the other one is course code 73. Course code 25 is the Sanskrit subject which we all study in MS, etc. This is what we study. This is course code 25. Course code 73 is traditional Sanskrit. So it covers Ayurvedam, Jyotisham, etc. and all those things which we don't read. Therefore, we apply and we appear for the exam only in course code 25 for Sanskrit, and our coaching is going only for Sanskrit course code 25 and paper 1. Paper 1 means which comprises general topics. This is common for all the subjects. I said 86 subjects are there in which this exam is conducted. For all these people, paper 1 is common. It is common for all the people. So paper 1 should be practiced very well, and it is useful to all people. Therefore, I expect more people, especially from the Telugu states, that this would be helpful for them if they know the information. I request you all to pass on the information, even though I am giving a trial classes as of now, some trial classes now to start with. Afterwards, even though some nominal fees are prescribed, all the study material is available, and many of the lectures are available, would be available free of cost to everyone, whoever student wants to get into that. In my YouTube channel, and all those details also I have already expressed in my earlier brochure and the inaugural meeting also. There the entire study material which we cover in these classes is available and can be used by all the students freely always. This minor nominal fees would be for these interactive classes to cover some administrative expenses, that's all. Once I start course either in paper 1 or in Sanskrit, what happens is, if you miss any earlier classes, it becomes difficult to pick up with the next classes. So I wish that all people should be, all people who are interested should be present in the classes right from the beginning. And as far as possible, they should not abstain from any classes. As I said, our schedule is, we have fixed it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days a week. In this 3-day week, 2 hours per day. The 2 time slots for these 2 hours are 4 to 5 p.m. and the 8 to 9 p.m. The 4 to 5 p.m. Sanskrit subject is covered in that time slot, and in 8 to 9 p.m. session, this paper 1 is covered in this slot. This is the schedule for us. This goes till November ending. November ending, definitely we'll have time. If not postponed, the exam should be in December 2022. So we'll be having about 8 months of time. Okay, weekly 6 hours means around 25 to 26 weeks a month. So about 8 months, we will have 170 to 180 hours of time. So I have to cover all the syllabus in about 140, 130 to 140 class hours. And the rest of the 20 to 30 hours, I reserve for mock tests at the end before the commencement of examinations. And till the date of examination, this coaching program goes. That's our program. This is how we wanted to do that. This is generally the structure. Then coming to the syllabus is given in 10 units in all the subjects. For paper 1, the syllabus, until the scope of the syllabus is prescribed in 10 different units. Similarly, for all subjects also, the scope is distributed in 10 units. 10 units, why I am specifically saying is that I said in paper 1, you get 50 questions. 10 unit means approximately, you can imagine 5 questions from each unit. 10 5s, 50 questions in paper 1. It's not necessary that 5 questions should be set from each unit. At times, in some units, there may be no questions at all. And in other units, there may be more number of questions other than the 5 questions. So it goes normally, it will be uniformly distributed at 4 or 5 questions in all the units, in all the 10 units. We cannot neglect, therefore, any unit. You have to be thorough with all units. So this is about paper 1. Similarly, in paper 2 also, for example, we are going for Sanskrit only with our coaching for now. So in that also,
WhatsApp audio.
Hello. నేను క్లాస్ లో ఉన్నానే, ఇవాళ ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ ఓకే. ఇప్పుడు అందుకని Sanskrit or any other subject also, the syllabus is prescribed in 10 different units, and they set 100 questions, means approximately about 10 questions from each unit, which makes it 100 questions, totally 300 marks. Normally, so to start with, we should have an idea about the overview of the examination and how we have to prepare and all that. That should be known first before we enter into the proper subject. That's why I am giving this introduction. So what we call is cutoff mark to get qualified in this examination, either for the post of assistant professor or for gaining the JRF. So for this, there will be different cutoff marks. Normally, I tell you, this is not a fixed mark. The yardstick is like this. Out of the total number of candidates that appear, they qualify 6% of the people. They qualify 6%. That means you have to be one among the first 6 in the 100. So that is how you have to prepare yourself. So what would be the mark, cutoff mark then? There is nothing like a pass mark or a qualifying mark here. It is only a relative mark. So normally the cutoff mark for assistant professor's post would be around 68% of the marks. If you score 68% of the marks, in part 1 and part 2, both put together only, they will see the score. So you have to score about 68 to 69% marks for getting qualified for the assistant professor's post. And then you need to score around 74 to 76% marks for getting qualified to obtain a junior research fellowship. This is how it goes. So keeping this in view, you can understand how hard you have to prepare. Now that we have 8 months time, it is hardly sufficient to appear at the examination confidently that we can get qualified. Requires that you put in efforts for at least 2 to 3 hours a day, right from now till that time. Unless that effort or hard work is done, it's not easy to get qualified. So this is the overall structure of the examination. So with this overall structure of the examination now, this is the session to cover part 1, paper 1, that is general topics. This I am starting. So I'll first let you know the scope of the syllabus and the various topics contained in this paper. Now that I'll go into that. Before going into that, in view of the introduction I have given about the structure of the examination and how much we have to score to get qualified and all these things, you don't get discouraged. It is not difficult, provided we do adequate work. It is very easy. We can definitely do it. Wishing you all the best. I am going into the syllabus of paper 1. Now you see, as I said, paper 1 syllabus is set in 10 units. In these 10 units, the first unit is teaching aptitude. One thing I should specify to all of you is that this is not like a traditional examination. It's a multiple choice questions. By that, you don't think that you can easily guess and mark the answers. The answers would be so closely set that you will be definitely confused unless you have a thorough knowledge. Here the advantage is we have to thoroughly read the subject and understand the subject. That's enough. You need not recall it and write in written anything. Just simply, if you can recollect it by seeing the options, that is enough. To that extent, if you prepare and remember things, that is enough. That is the advantage in this examination because of the multiple choice questions type of paper. That is the important advantage in this. And one more thing is, here, just not the depth of the subject, the breadth of the subject is also very, very important. Because the course is not so precisely planned or given here. He just simply says teaching aptitude, and of course he gives some of the topics, but don't think with the topics given in his stated syllabus, the exam paper would be there. Around all that, all peripheral subjects have to be studied thoroughly. So this has to be done very thoroughly. And we'll definitely do our best to supplement as much information as possible as required. But if you prepare for 1,000 multiple choice questions, definitely you will get in your exam the 1,001th question, not anything among the 1,000 questions. That is how these papers are set from their question banks. So it is difficult unless you have a thorough knowledge over depth and breadth of each topic. It is not possible to answer it easily. Why I am saying is only to give you a hint that you have to be sincere in your preparation, not just to say that it is tough or near impossibility to get through. It is very easy to get through, provided you are sincere in your efforts. So the 10 topics relating to 10 units in paper 1 are: one is teaching aptitude. I am not giving the various detailed topics given under this head here, because as we go studying all these 10 units, unit by unit, I will give you the detailed syllabus and I will explain you syllabus wise each topic in detail, and I also give you notes. Notes wherever details are required, I will give you notes in PDF, and for explanation purpose, I will go through these PowerPoint presentations. This is comfortable. So the first topic is teaching aptitude. For your general idea, teaching aptitude comprises the course almost as contained in BEd and MEd courses. It is not easy. You have to learn all the things. So that is about the first unit, teaching aptitude. Why he prefers the first unit as teaching aptitude is that Mind you, this exam is conducted to select you for the post of a teacher. Even if you call it assistant professor, it's a teacher's post. It's a pious post, a sacred post where you have to be sincere and do your duty very well. So in teaching a subject, you will have various factors, how to teach and what should be the ethics for a teacher and how should be the behavior of a student. All these things and what are the methods of teaching, what are the latest methods applied in teaching systems. All these things, what are the facilities available for teaching and what are the facilities available for us nowadays on ICT basis for learning. All these things are dealt here and you have to know those things, all those things thoroughly. We'll tell them all slowly, topic by topic. This is regarding teaching aptitude. The second topic is research aptitude. As you know, this test is also conducted to qualify candidates for admission to their research programs, doctorate programs. Therefore, you should have a good aptitude in research. You don't think just like you read 10th class or 11th class or say a degree course or a postgraduate degree course. This is not like that. When it comes to research, you should have a passion. You should have an originality. You should have a thinking, logical capacity and all these things. Therefore, how this research aptitude is, it is really, it's a special paper in all the MPhil courses. It's a subject and a paper in all MPhil courses, this research aptitude. There are so many things covered in this subject, like what are the methods of research, what are the methods of inquiry, what are the methods of collecting data, what are the methods of analyzing the data, what are various methods of reporting about the data, how to compile the result, how to report the result. These are all the various things, how to get material for research. So these are all the things, varieties of research. So all these topics are covered in this unit, research aptitude. The third one is comprehension. Comprehension means we are very much familiar to this right from our childhood, like some 10th class or so, we'll have in our English paper, epitomization or paragraph questions. We know all this. That is what is this comprehension. But the difference is, here it's a real comprehension in the sense, a passage is given. This passage runs for about one paragraph. Just imagine this. Just recollect, I said there will be 1 minute for a question to answer. Now the passage, that means the passage given here would run for about 3/4 of a full-scape shape. And it will be in a very high standard of English language. Next, under that, they will be given 4 or 5 questions based on the information given in the above passage. So what happens is you have to read the passage and then you have to understand the passage. You have to understand the gist of the passage, the content of the passage and answer the questions. Like in our classes, don't think the answers could be directly seen for the questions in the paragraph. It is not like that. They are only implied and you have to extract them from the content of the paragraph to answer the questions given below. 5 questions means 5 minutes. Understand, 5 minutes time is there for you to read, to go through a passage of about 3/4 of a full-scape sheet, understand it. It is of a high quality, high level English language. You have to understand it and then answer the questions. You have 5 minutes time. Understand how smart you should be. So it is simple, hard work is not sufficient. It should also be a smart work. You should know how to scan through so quickly and be able to answer the questions so quickly. This is another thing. So that is comprehension. 4 to 5 questions definitely will come in this topic. And the next topic is communication. After all, now what we are doing now between you and I, it is only communication. Communication is a thing which goes forever. Without communication, there's no life. So various traditional methods of communication and modern methods of communication, including information technology and all those things, that is included in this chapter. This is the 4th chapter, communication. This is an important chapter on which, in fact, more than 5 questions are set every year. So we have to read 4th unit in communication processes. The 5th one is mathematical reasoning and aptitude. In saying aptitude, unless you have an aptitude, it is not easy to answer the mathematical questions. Mathematical reasoning means there would be so many series, progression. Series means number series, letter series, etc. And progression means arithmetic progressions, geometric progressions, etc. So in all these things, you will be getting multiple choice questions. No doubt, if 10 minutes time is given for a question, I'm sure every one of you can answer each and every question, but that's not the case. You have to get the answer in less than a minute. That is the constraint here. So mathematical reasoning and aptitude, this contains all these things, time and distance, and all such topics. Topics appear to be basic, but it's not basic. They are small, but speed is important here. For that, you will have to apply certain shortcuts. The traditional methods of working out won't do here. And these shortcuts, we have specially searched for certain shortcuts, and we made them ready for all of you to just know and answer your questions with a lot of speed. And one more thing, this mathematical reasoning and aptitude, it is to some extent okay for the mathematics and science students. For other than mathematics and science students, it is not so easy. So they have to prepare hard for this to do answer these questions with sufficient speed. That is important. That is the 5th unit. The 6th unit is logical reasoning, understanding the structure of arguments. So what we call arguments, structure of arguments ante chudandi, మనము తర్కశాస్త్రం అని మనకు తెలుసును. ఆ తర్కం అంతా ఇందులో ఉంటుందన్నమాట. ఇందులో వెస్టర్న్ లాజిక్ ఉన్నది, ఇండియన్ లాజిక్ ఉన్నది. ఒకప్పుడు వెస్టర్న్ లాజిక్ మీద ఫోకస్ పెట్టేవారు. Nowadays they are giving throwing more focus on Indian logic. Indian logic is not easy, but for Sanskrit students to some extent it is comfortable because they read Tarkam logic there, so they can do it. For those who are not Sanskrit students, Indian logic is a little bit difficult to comprehend, understand, or answer. And one more thing is, there will be questions set for both from Western logic and Indian logic. What happens is, you have to interpret Indian logic in terms of Western logical terms, and then only you can answer. They will not give direct questions to be answered in Indian logic in terms of Indian logic. You need to convert Indian logic in terms of Western logic, and then only you will be able to answer these questions. It is also very difficult to do this. We'll practice in that. Don't worry about that. And then the 7th unit is data interpretation, sources, acquisition, and then acquisition and classification of data. This data interpretation, sources, acquisition, classification data relates mostly to statistics and mathematics. Here, the factory workers are the proportions of students, male students, female students, or children, and the people, old people, etc. Big tables will be given, and you will be answered. You will be required to answer several questions based on the information given on those tables. This goes with the statistics mostly, and also mathematics, and some common sense is always required in all these topics. That is the data interpretation, sources, acquisition, classification data. The next thing is information and communication technology. This is another thing which goes very, very elaborately, basics only, elementary things only, but it goes very, very elaborately. What happens is, right from the basic terminology of a computer, you will have to the latest artificial intelligence terms. You have to know all these terms. Only a peripheral knowledge, not an in-depth knowledge like an engineering candidate. These are not engineering courses, but all the terms involved here are only engineering terms, and you have to know all those things about networking and about various files and all those things. We will go into details when we come to that topic. That is information and communication technology. Next is people development and environment. This is, people development. Important thing is, we always, the entire world needs their people to develop, and they should lead a comfortable living. For this comfortable living, what is it we have to do? We have to guard our environment concerns with the water, the land, the air, and all our atmosphere, climate, and relating to all those things, what what are the various levels within the ground, above the ground. So all these things in this is included. Physics is there, physics will be there, agriculture will be there, and then pollution, etc. All these things you have to know, various diseases you get and all those things, and what are the steps taken internationally and nationally by various countries to mitigate these any risks with reference to bad environment, and how to mitigate those risks, and how to make our environment better and give us a comfortable life, a comfortable, peaceful life. All these things, this is a very vast topic, are included in this people, development and environment. And then comes the last unit, the 10th unit is higher education system, institutions of higher learning and higher education and education in ancient India. See, here the wonderful thing is, whichever topic is dealt in UGC NET syllabus, you can call it A to Z. Comes on, A to Z. Means from the basics to the latest. Basics to the latest, the entire breadth and length of the subject is covered. Depth to a large extent. You have to know to some extent, not necessary that you have to elaborately know it. This is the thing. Higher education system means it starts with education in ancient India, means in Takshashila. From Takshashila it starts, Takshashila, and from such things it comes to the online courses. Now what we are doing is also an online course. This is the latest system of education. So up to this level, all these types of education systems are given, and the political system and the entire constitution of India is also to be known in this. The entire constitution of India is also included in this. And also what are the various institutions based on ICT, means information and communication technology, available for online studies. You know, I think many people may not be aware, there are multiple number of online facilities, online initiatives for students to learn sitting at their homes. Wonderful things. All these things we come to know apart from the appearing at the examination. These things I expect, I hope they give us a lot of happiness to know. So much is going on in the world and in our country. We do not know all those things. You know of so many things which perhaps we are not knowing so far. That itself gives us a lot of happiness, but our target is also to get qualified in the examination, and we have to do necessary efforts for this. And then I'll go through this a little fast because it's only 15 minutes time for our 1 hour slot. These are some tips I wanted to go. Just I'll read through, see these things. Normally what happens is people think there are only 50 questions in paper 1. And there are 50 questions in the paper 2. There are 100 questions in paper 2. 100 questions in paper 2 means what happens is, that is our subject in which we have done a post-graduation degree. Therefore, people think it is easy for them to score more marks there, and it is likely that they neglect paper 1. This is where most people are unable to get qualified in this test. Most people fail in the paper 1. Because they neglect it, they don't show much focus on paper 1. But I tell you one very, very important hint and the tip here is that it is in fact paper 1 which decides your eligibility for the assistant professor post, and in particular for the JRF, for getting JRF, because you have to go, you have to score 75% marks, means you have to score at least 65% in paper 1. Scoring 65% marks in paper 1 is not an ordinary thing. It's very difficult. You have to put in a lot of effort for that. If you neglect it and if you score less than 60% marks in paper 1, you can forget about JRF. You can forget about JRF. If you go less than 55 in paper 1, you can forget about getting qualified for the test at all. So paper 1 should not be neglected. That's what I wrote here. Do not take paper 1 light. It's what in fact makes a difference in getting qualified, especially for JRF. Then, as I said, you can be watching online. You say UGC NET examination. If you are going to an examination, we search online nowadays. That is normal with everybody. So when it happens, you will get hundreds of thousands and lakhs of lectures, pages of material. If you start reviewing all those things and loading yourself about all those things, you will lose yourself. You do not know where you are. So don't do that. You watch the syllabus close, very close. And then you keep your preparation close to your syllabus. Does not mean necessarily with the few headings given in the syllabus. In the peripheral area also, you have to prepare yourself closely to the syllabus prescribed. Then you have to make a plan of study. Make a plan of study means naturally, as I said, for mathematics students, some things are easy. Some literature students, some things are easy. Some things are difficult. So for some people with science background and engineering background, some things are easy. Because engineering people also, they will appear. For them, ICT is very easy. Whereas it is not at all easy for us. Everything, binary systems, so conversion into all those systems and all that, we have to learn it right from scratch now. So what I tell you is, you just go through the syllabus first and then decide yourself what are your weak areas and what are your strong areas. Then depending upon individual concepts, would you like to start with covering weaker areas first for your preparation, or first stronger areas and then weaker areas? That's an individual choice. You can do either way. There would be a planning, whichever planning you like, you have to go accordingly in that. That is what I said, make a plan of study. So for that, you have to identify your strong and weak areas and you have to plan your own preparation for that. And then while practicing it, you be very cool and do it leisurely. If we study for say half an hour చదివిన తర్వాత, take a gap, 5 minutes అటు ఇటు తిరగండి, లేదంటే ఒక చిన్న వీడియో క్లిప్ చూడండి. నవేడేస్ ఉన్నాయి కదా షార్ట్ క్లిప్స్, చాలా వస్తాయి షార్ట్స్ అని చెప్పేసి, ఏదైనా చూడండి, రిలాక్స్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్. హాయిగా రిలాక్స్ గా చదివితే మన బ్రెయిన్ బాగా రిసీవ్ చేసుకుంటుంది. ఇక్కడ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ ఈజ్, మనకి మగ్గింగ్ అక్కర్లేదు. ఇనఫ్ ఇఫ్ యూ అండర్స్టాండ్. Once you understand, it is not so easy to forget those things. At least on seeing the multiple choices given, you will be able to recollect it. I am sure about that for all of us. So that's what I can say in this. So be leisure and be very cool in your preparation. You don't feel any haste or any tension for this preparation, seeing at the vastness of the syllabus or the toughness of the examinations is set. Then the another most important thing, we are going to do it very elaborately after some time. That is reviewing the previous examination papers. Not that some questions may be repeated. You know, even if you review 10 papers of previous years, 10 previous years papers, you can be sure that at least one question among them would be repeated. Always new questions come. But the thing is, topic won't change, is it not? You can definitely practice you can definitely answer any question, though not a particular question of the previous exams is set. You can answer any question with your common sense if you answer the previous year's papers. So that is also important. We are also going to do that. Here, as I said, not just the hard work, you have to put in your smart work also. And you have to acquire knowledge of the subject breadth-wise, depth-wise, and just you keep revising what you read. If you just read and leave it off, you are likely to forget it. So now and then you be revising what you have studied. That's also very important. And then one more thing, as I said, no question would be repeated. If you read 1,000 multiple choice questions in one topic, you will get the 1,001th question. Not any question from these 1,000 questions. That means you should have a grip over the subject. And you should be able to logically answer a question. For example, when I appeared in last January, just I am citing an example how it helps. I have read about 70 authors of Sanskrit books, like dramas, poetry, prose, or whatever, scriptures. I read about 70 people thoroughly. Now a matching question is giving 4 people and their years, which year they do belong. 4 names are given of the Sanskrit authors. You know, I do not know any one of them. Any one name from those names I know. Believe that. I studied 70 names. I have a notes for that. I am going to giving it for the Sanskrit subject. But I did not get even one name from those 70 names. All the 4 names are new. The matching is names on one side and on the other side to which year he belongs. That means, is it 11th century or 7th century, like that. How can you answer that? But I have answered it. I have applied some logic depending on, because I have studied about 70 people. From the names, I could just grasp what is the probable century to which they belong. And with reference to their names, and also we'll get some intuition about their subject also, seeing the name, which subject they may have dealt. That also we get an idea. This is what I am saying is applying your general sense, common sense, and a logical thinking. If you apply this, I answered the question, and to my surprise, when I looked at the answers, my paper, that answer was right. That answer turned out to be right. Maybe a little fortune is there for me, but the thing is, it has not come. It has not come just by fluke. I applied a lot of logic for that. I thought I spent 3 or 4 minutes on that simple question because I saved some time. So this is what I am saying. So you have to develop a logical thinking around what you read, just not looking at the information given. That's not enough. That is the other things. Then people at the beginning itself, they start looking at the multiple choice questions. You should never do that. If you first start looking at the multiple choice questions, what happens is you get puzzled. Immediately you get a feeling, can I do this? How can I know all these things? This is the feeling which you get. You should not do that. So first read the topics. Read the topics. Though not all. Now, for example, we are now first taking teaching aptitude. We are going to take it from tomorrow onwards. If you take up teaching aptitude, you completely read the topic first, then go to the questions. Then you will get some courage, some boldness that you can answer that. But without reading the subject or knowing the content of the topics, if you straight away attempt to see at the questions how they look, definitely you will be discouraged. So don't look at the questions right in the beginning itself. This is another tip I can tell you. And above all of you know that you should have utmost confidence in yourself and the way in which you are preparing yourself. You never lose that confidence. See, if you get a feeling on seeing the examination paper that it is set tough, it's not easy to answer, immediately you should not lose your composure. You should always maintain your peaceful composure. That is very, very important, because if the paper is set difficult to understand, it is the same paper to everyone. Everyone would experience the same difficulty. If you lose heart, you will fail in answering the questions very much known to you, and you will lose your logical capacity, logical thinking capacity, and all those things. Some haste comes, tension comes, and you lose time also in that process. So this happens. So never lose confidence on seeing the paper. Maintain utmost confidence in yourself and in the way in which you prepare. That will definitely bring you the success. So these are all some tips how we have to prepare for the examination. And then coming to the first topic of teaching aptitude. So now we have another 6-7 minutes time. I'll complete this content of the total teaching aptitude, and we'll start reading these details tomorrow night. Tomorrow Sunday I have class. So, and again tomorrow afternoon 4 to 5, you have a class, and that is the Sanskrit class. People who are appearing for Sanskrit may come into that. Now at this point of time, just I wanted to introduce you that my colleague, Mr. Panduranga Naidu, is also now available in this session, and he would start the Sanskrit subject tomorrow evening. So those who are interested in the Sanskrit subject may please attend that session tomorrow from 4 to 5. And this 8 to 9 slot is mine. I will do the teaching aptitude in this session. Okay. Now, teaching aptitude, the scope of the subject given, this is how the entire syllabus is framed for Unit 1 in teaching aptitude. This is concept, objectives, levels of teaching. What are the various levels of teaching? Memory level teaching, understanding level teaching, reflective level teaching. These are all the technical terms associated with the practices of teaching. And teaching is with reference to different age groups. Memory level means it is for children. Understanding level is for youth. Reflective level is at the research stages. So there are the various levels of literacy and age groups are associated with different levels of teaching. So these are all the various things. We'll read all these details. Characteristics and the basic requirements means concept. What is teaching? What is learning? And then objectives. Why teaching? Why learning? And then levels of teaching depending upon the age groups and the degree of literacy, etc. And then what are the characteristics of the teaching? Characteristics of the teaching means how the environment of teaching, classroom teaching should be there. What are various methods of teaching? What are the traditional methods? What are the modern methods? And what are the requirements for this? There will be so many requirements like the curriculum, the study material, so many appliances in the school to make some demonstrations, and all these things will be conducted, will be dealt with in this topic. The first topic of teaching aptitude. The next one is, this is general about teaching. The next one is learners characteristics, characteristics of adolescent and adult learners, academic, social and emotional and cognitive. These are the various aspects of learning. These are the various aspects of learning: academic, social, emotional, cognitive. And then individual differences. All learners are not alike. The learners are different in their own way. Some people will be more intelligent. Some people will be less intelligent. Some people will be very, very highly intelligent. Means almost there will be prodigies. So how to teach all these people with different capabilities? All those things comes in learners characteristics. Then is factors affecting teaching related to, what are the factors affecting the teaching subject related to teacher, learner, support material, instructional facilities, learning environment and institution. I know every one of you know about this. So how a teacher should be, ethical ga undali, and subject undali, how he should gain an overall view about the students, how he should know how to teach different types of students, and all those things are the capacity of teacher and also learner like that. And support material, how you give the study material, how the classroom arrangement is made, how the classroom discipline is maintained, and then instructional facilities, how your school environment is there, what are the facilities given there for teachers or students, and then learning environment and institution. You know, these are all about institutions and the environment in the institution, which should be congenial for a good learning and an effective teaching. That is what is here. Then methods of teachings in institutions of higher learning. This is the next thing. These are teacher-centered versus learner-centered methods, offline versus online methods. As I said, see these things: Swayam, Swayam Prabha, MOOCs. Their MOOCs means massive open online courses. These are all available. These are various very, very wonderful initiatives. So these are very, very wonderful initiatives available for us to learn. And then teaching support systems. Support systems are traditional. Teaching support systems means various instruments with which they demonstrate while teaching. And then modern means and ICT based, that can be with lectures recorded, live lectures, etc. and all those things. And then finally it is the evaluation systems, elements and types of evaluation. Elements and types of evaluation means it does not end with learning. To what extent the student has learned, this has to be evaluated. There are various methods for this evaluation, and these methods are called based on credit system in higher education, computer-based testing. This is what exactly is going now with our UGC NET examination, and various innovations and the new methods found in introduced in the evaluation systems. This is all what I wanted to cover in today's session. So it is 1 hour's time is exactly over now. So from tomorrow we'll start going in detail about these topics. So tomorrow we'll look into, as far as possible, some four topics we will try to cover tomorrow, or 2 topics, whatever. We'll start it, as I said, no hurry. We'll start it coolly, stably, and we'll try to cover it well within time. And we'll do all the previous year's question papers. We'll do practice tests. And finally, before the examinations, we'll do mock tests. And we also give you time specified online tests. If you attend for online tests, it's good. And then my request is that you please try to spread this facility available among your friends, whoever is here. That would help them. It is immaterial whether I get 10 people or 100 people. It's immaterial for me. What we say and how we say will not change. We'll do the same effort with the same interest and with the same sincerity. But we wish that it should help more and more people, because we are not going on marketing side. People may not be knowing about this advantage available for them. So please try to communicate this to the people known to you so that they can attend these sessions. So thank you very much for attending today's session. You can always raise your doubts. We have our Telegram app, Jaygeez Brainery is there. For that, in that group, you can post your queries also if anybody has on any information. Now I have fed through my lecture. So you can raise any queries. I will answer those things. And then you can also chat among yourselves, and we'll go with the teaching aptitude subject from tomorrow onwards. Thank you very much. Good night. I wish you all the best. Bye for now.
Thank you, sir.